The color, sandy brown. The company, Benjamin Moore. This is Hue Review, so let's review. I'm James from The Paint People. This is a channel all about painting, decorating, color and color theory. And on this show, I love to review paint colors the way that I know how. I want to give you the vibe of this color, the versatility of this color, and then finally I'll give you my verdict for the third and final V. How I would use this color, and would I even? So before we dive into this review, I want to give you some alternatives from other companies. If you're not using Benjamin Moore paint for whatever reason, these are going to be close copies of Sandy Brown. They're not spot-on matches by any means. I've not verified each of them, but they'll give you a similar essence to Sandy Brown in different paint companies. The only way to get Sandy Brown 100% authentically is to just get it in Benjamin Moore paint. Quite simple. Today's sponsor is us. ThePaintPeople.com is your go-to destination for quality paint and paint supplies. We're more than just a paint store. We are your partner in bringing color to life. Visit our website today and discover a world of colors, quality, and convenience. And as a thank you for supporting us on YouTube, use coupon code JAMES5 for 5% off your order. So let's get into this review. What's the vibe of Sandy Brown? What kind of color is it? What are the characteristics of it? Well, Sandy Brown, the name, is interesting because it combines the richness of brown and then the lightness of nice white beigey sand. So Sandy Brown, naturally. I've seen this color described as a basic beige, but I do think it is a little more tan leaning than beige. And the reason for that is the addition of a bit of brown and a little bit of almost a gold sort of ochre undertone in it that gives it a little more of that vibrancy that tan sometimes has. The color also has a lot of richness with a 52-ish LRV, so that's kind of right smack dab in the middle, total mid-tone color, and that means this color has quite a bit of depth, way more than off-whites and pastels and even those lighter neutral colors. There is a noticeable amount of colorant and saturation here. It is a color that will be noticeable, and even though it's technically kind of in that neutral-ish family, it has enough warmth to it to really pull it into that side of things. This is not one of your right down the middle, super easy breezy neutrals. This is a color where you will feel its warmth. Maybe not physically, but visually. So on that note, let's talk about versatility. How usable and practical is Sandy Brown as a paint color inside and outside? On the interior side of things, I would put Sandy Brown at the low-mid versatility interior-wise, mainly because of the fact that it is pretty neutral, but it's not all the way neutral. Even though it's a mid-tone, I do feel that it can feel a little bit darker than you might expect, being at a 52 LRV rather than something in the 60s. And then there's the crop of people that are just anti-beige, tan, brown colors in their home. And there's quite a few of you. So I just don't think that it's a color that will appeal to everyone. It may not inspire a ton of creativity either because it's not a super overly fun color, I would say. But I think it does its job at being pretty passive while still having a decent amount of saturation, which is kind of tricky to do. On the exterior side of things, Sandy Brown is a low-high versatility for me. I think that added bit of richness and depth that can be maybe somewhat of a hindrance inside is a benefit outside. It's a color that really works outdoors because it feels a bit more natural. It's not too polarizing. It has richness, so it's never going to feel washed out. It will be noticeable, but it also plays well with much darker, even more saturated colors next to it. There's a lot you can do with Sandy Brown as a main color, potentially as a trim color, but I do see it more as like an all over the house type of neutral that I think would work really well. So what's my verdict? The final V. How would I use this color, and would I even use it in my home? If we talk about the palette pyramid, the hierarchy of colors, main color up top, support colors in the middle, and then finishing accent colors down below, I think Sandy Brown is a support color to me. Not quite saturated enough to feel like a true accent color because it is more neutral leaning, but it does have the saturation to make it next in line to your main color. Quite a bit of richness, but not a color I would say just put it all over your house and you'll be good. This is not really a go-to main home color, but this is a great secondary space color. For the offshoots in your home, you could even technically use it as a mid-tone trim color, but I just think it maybe is a little warm for my liking. I do tend to like trim colors that are a bit closer to the middle temperature-wise, but absolutely a great choice for walls in areas that you do want a little more of that richness, or maybe the lighting is too bright for those lighter colors that you'll use everywhere else. And speaking of those lighter colors, before I give you my verdict on whether I would use this color or not, I want to give you two color pairings that are kind of in the same family, but just give you different levels of depth, starting with Steam as a great off-white pairing for this color. So if you have sandy brown on the walls and you want white baseboards, I think Steam is one of the best choices you can go with. If you wanted a color that is kind of in between Steam and sandy brown in terms of lightness, maybe you want a little more coloration than just a nice clean white, wood ash would be my recommendation. Very much in that same sort of echelon of colors that are more beige leaning, a little bit of that tan undertone, more of a pastel feel, a little more of a gray touch to tone it down as well. And the LRV is at 76, 77, so quite a bit lighter than sandy brown. So in those areas that you want less depth, less saturation, something a bit more airy, easy breezy, then absolutely wood ash would be my recommendation. Now back to sandy brown. Would I use this color in my home? Could I see myself using it? No. Not as a paint color. I think colors like this, in my taste, in my decor, I would probably have off the walls in the form of accessories and furniture and pillows maybe. Just that little pop of tan here and there. I don't think as a wall color it would really work with my aesthetic and my space. But that's just me, and that's a review. So if you want to see a sandy brown color palette at the end of this week in the form of our palette pyramids, let me know in the description down below, and here is another video for you.